Welcome back to Continent 8 Technologies, Tribal Talk, Cybersecurity Unlocked. This is the podcast series where we delve into the journeys, successes, lessons learned, and best practices of the gaming, iGaming, sports betting industry. Having powered and protected the global gaming market for over 25 years here at Continent 8, I am your host, Jerad Swimmer, Regional Sales Director at Continent 8, specializing in the tribal sector and American iGaming sector. So today, we're going to look into the challenges that global companies face when their workforce is dispersed across the globe, relying heavily on smartphones and tablets and many other devices. We'll also explore the key considerations businesses should implement to maintain a robust cybersecurity posture. Joining us today is Colm Healy. Colm is the founder and CEO of Corrata. Corrata is at the forefront of cybersecurity technology, revolutionizing how organizations safeguard their employees' mobile devices. So these things right here, this is what's taking over. This is what everybody's on 24/7, by their bed, in their bed, by their head, whatever. I see people looking at these devices more than they are at a movie theater. So it drives me crazy. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. So Colm, welcome to our podcast series. It's great to have you with us.
Jared, it's great to be here. I love your intro. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we get started, can you kind of give our guests a little bit of information, introduce yourself, share a little bit about your background and experience with our listeners?
Yeah, great. Delighted to do that. So, look, I've been in the tech business for 25 years or more, really in the mobile business all that time. Worked with a lot of great firms, probably ones you might know, like Qualcomm. So, really at the forefront of mobile technology, as are the rest of our team. So the team here at Corrata, we're real kind of mobile first guys. We kind of it's in our DNA. It's kind of what we know and what we sort of think about and eat, sleep and walk. That's our game.
Right. Very nice. Very nice. Thanks, Colin. So let's get into this. My first question, with so many businesses relying on smartphones and tablets for their day-to-day operations, it introduces a whole new world of possibilities and efficiencies, but also vulnerabilities. Could you share your insights on today's evolving digital workspace?
Yeah, I suppose, look, I mean, what we now have a situation is really where for many employees, they're doing as much, if not more, on their mobiles as they're doing on their traditional desktops or laptops. So
Yeah.
they have access to all of the same applications, all of the same data that they had before. But they're also using, I mean, the thing about mobile is it's on the move. It's used, it's as you said earlier, it's like it's there 24/7. And the way we use mobile is very different behaviorally from the way we've used traditional laptops and desktops. Sitting on a laptop desktop, it's like I'm in work mode now, right? You
Yeah.
pick up your phone, 1 minute you're kind of getting a WhatsApp from one of your key contacts to say we need to get that contract closed. The next minute you're getting a message to say from probably not the same guy, but you're getting the message to say, hey, when are we meeting for beers? So it's that mixture of the kind of the personal and the business, which is very characteristic of mobile, I think. And it's an entirely different work mode, I think, to the traditional way we've worked. And obviously the COVID pandemic drove all that on as everybody moved online. Everybody started working from anywhere remotely, from home, from their offices, from the coffee shop, wherever they could find the time to get their work done.
Yeah, yeah. So it is evident that mobile devices are a prime target now because we were used to laptops and network and going through the systems and all that, but now mobile devices are the target. Can you walk us through some of the biggest mobile threats that we do see on those today?
Yeah, I would say like the single biggest threat is the threat of phishing. And the first thing you got to remember is, right, phishing it's not the old type of phishing. It's not your traditional email phishing, right? This is
Right.
not your corporate, this is not attacking your corporate inbox. This is attacking every other single messaging application that you have on your phone, whether it's WhatsApp or whether it's Telegram or Facebook Messenger, or whether it's at your SMS messages, or indeed whether it's Teams that we're actually on at the moment. All of those sort of collaboration and communications tools that we now have that, great, we've protected the corporate inbox, we've put a lot of work in to make sure it's safe and secure, but hey, your actual activity has moved outside the corporate inbox into a whole lot of different, generally mobile centric communications channels. So number one, let's protect what goes on in there. That's probably the number one issue you've got. I mean, that's compounded by things like malware, where, as part of one of these attacks, they'll persuade you into downloading a piece of intrusive malware that can take remote control of your device, right? That's the second step, but it tends to all start with a text-based or messaging-based malicious link arriving in over one of those messaging channels.
So I am on a lot of demos with Colm's team, but the biggest thing I've been hearing and people will say on the demos is that yes, they'll answer the question yes when we ask them. But like now the recent thing is like the barcodes, the scanning codes.
Yeah.
One of our own technical solutions architects, he lives down in Florida and he visits the beach quite frequently because he's a surfer. And so for parking, and I just saw this last summer when I was there, but for parking, they want you to scan the barcode so you can pay for it right there. And so he was asking, he's seeing a lot of fraudulent activity when it comes to those scans and those barcodes. Is that's something you guys are picking up on?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's two things that there's originally, what's interesting about the barcode is that originally it was about linking up the physical and the digital world. So it's exactly the kind of use case you talked about. You're parking or you're getting a ticket or whatever it might be. And that's absolutely a threat because people can very easily interfere with those. And you think, hey, I'm just scanning this code here and this is a trusted website, and you end up putting in payment details, and next thing you know, you're in trouble, right? But another interesting, interesting is one way of putting it, but really dangerous development now is that we're often being taught to use to get a message on, say, your email. It's got an embedded barcode, right? You take out your phone and you scan that barcode, right, to get to wherever you're supposed to be going to. Of course, that's a really deliberate trick by the scammers because they know that typically your corporate network or your corporate app, your laptop, your desktop may well have traditional security controls in place that will intercept if you try to go to the wrong place. But they also know that the vast majority of phones don't. So here's a way of circumventing all of the great, you've gone out to loads of effort to put all the right sort of things in place, and it's just with one swipe of your phone, you end up bypassing all that and putting your organization at risk.
Dangerous. Well, thank you for that overview, Colm. CISOs today are in the unenviable position of having to plan and protect against multiple threats and entry points. What are some measures or safeguards that an organization can employ to help address some of the potential blind spots when it comes to mobile security?
Yeah, it's a great question. So look, I mean, there's a couple of things that organizations should be doing, right? So typically having good, what we call security hygiene. So security hygiene is just making sure that your device has a passcode on it, that it's encrypted, that it's, for example, if it's an Android phone, that it's not allowed to download. It's what they call side loading, like take an unofficial app, an app from an unofficial, really sketchy, unofficial app store, or an app that your friend has sent on to you over some messaging channel. All of those things, you should make sure that none of that basic stuff is at risk or is left poorly configured, right? That's kind of your base level. Let's make sure we're not poorly configured. We're not leaving the door completely open, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second thing then is, okay, how do you not just keep the door open, but keep it secure? How do you lock it essentially, right? So to stretch the analogy a little, that's when you need some sort of security software that's running on the phone, that's making sure it's scanning for viruses, it's scanning every link that you're presented with or you attempt to click on, and it's intercepting those. It's basically blocking any of those dangerous links. So they're the kind of things that we think are like the two basic things. Just make sure of good compliance, as we call it, to make sure that you've got your device properly configured. It's got an up-to-date operating system as well, right? And then number two, making sure it's consistently being scanned both for malware and it's being scanned in terms of every link that is being presented on that phone and being clicked on that phone is being scanned to make sure it's safe.
So one last question before we go. I know we're pressed for time, but can you explain to our listeners, because I know there's a lot going to be listening and saying to themselves, "Yeah, well, we have an MDM, we're good, we're good there." Can you explain the difference between an MDM and what Corrata does with mobile protection?
Great question, Jared. I mean, so when I talked about those two levels, so the first
Mm-hmm.
level is just making sure that you've got the door shut, right? So that's your MDM. That's basic configuration. What MDM does, it's the clue is in the name. It's a mobile device management platform. So it
Right.
makes sure that the configuration of the phone is correct. It doesn't see what's happening on the phone. It doesn't know, it has no awareness of where that phone is attempting to access, the bad places it might be attempting to connect to, or the bad software that might be downloaded to that phone.
Yeah.
So what we do is we make sure we're securing it. The first piece is managing it, making sure it's got good configuration, your MDM, but your mobile endpoint security solution is making sure that it's constantly the activity on the phone is safe. So I suppose it is very much like in the traditional laptop sense. You've got management tooling and then you've got security tooling. So ours is the security tooling for the mobile phone.
So it's basically a sock for your mobile devices.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it's a great way of putting it. Actually, we're in many ways, Corrata is your security operations team for your mobile phone and your mobile fleet.
And I like to use this in my presentations when we're talking about a SOC to people that are not familiar. But basically, if you have your house and you have locks on the front door, back door, you've got the ring, you got cameras, surveillance, and all that, you even got a motion detector light. Those are the tools to try and protect your house.
Mm,
But you can't protect against the family member that left the window open and then now everybody leaves and then the intruder can come through that window. All your tools didn't do anything to keep that intruder from entering
yeah,
your home. So what the SOC does, or what mobile protection does, is we're the guy sitting inside of the house when the intruder comes in, protecting you from them. We're locking it down. So that's
yeah.
the best way I can and
It's
come up
great.
with it in my
A,
head. So
a great analogy, Jared. I liked your hand gestures as well there. I'm not sure that we can deliver that kind of blow to the
yeah.
intruder, but anyway.
Well, thank you, Colm, for joining with us. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Colm Healy with us. A big thank you to our viewers and listeners. And if you have any questions or guidance on mobile defense strategies or would like to demo C8 Mobile Protection Solution, please feel free to visit our website, continent8.com, c8secure.com, or you can contact us at sales@continent8.com. We'd love to give you a demo of the Mobile Protect solution with Corrata. I've seen it many times and I love it. And thank you for joining us again. Hope to see you soon. Please stay tuned for our next podcast. Thank you all. Thanks, Colin.